All right, well, good morning, everyone. Bonjour à tous. Bienvenue. Welcome so much. My name is Tricia Williams. I'm the Director of Research, Evaluation, Knowledge Mobilization at the Future Skills Center. I swear I did not make that very long job title. And I am pleased to be with you today as your MC, and I just want to welcome you all warmly here to this event. I'm so glad you've shown up. And now we're breathing a sigh of relief that you're here, so thank you so much. We are going to be spending the day together, exploring a lot of things. I want to start first by acknowledging the land that we're on. And we recognize that the Future Skills Center, we're gathering both in person today here in Toronto, but we're also virtual across Canada. And we have some pictures there to remind us of the beautiful land in all of the Indigenous territories that span across Turtle Island. So here in Toronto, we're sitting on the lands of the many nations, the traditional lands, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. So the treaties that cover these territories, Treaty 13 and the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant. And I encourage you all to think about the land that you're gathering from today, even those online, the traditional lands that have been cared for so well and so studiously by Indigenous communities. We honor them today. So I want to cover a few housekeeping things before we get started. I think you've already found seats and you found beverages. That's great. I'm supposed to tell you that you are going to get breaks today. Isn't that a good news, hey? Thank you to the people who put that in the schedule. We're going to have short breaks at 10:40 and 2:30 and lunches at 12:20. Gosh, these are going to be hard to remember, but the restrooms are just over close to the food stations. We are having a bilingual event today, and we are offering simultaneous translation in both English and French via headset, so please see the booth at the entrance there if you'd like a headset. The first case spotlight at noon will be delivered here in French in this room, so if you need translation, please grab a headset ahead of that. We will also have subtitles on the screen as well, if you like. We're also going to be using Slido throughout today's event, both in person and online. So people online will be able to submit questions and participate as well, and we'll be able to see their responses. You can also, there's the QR code on your name tags and also on the QR code on the tables. And you can upvote different comments and questions. So please, we encourage you all to participate and share your comments that way via Slido. We also have a code for Slido called Built on Skills. So we can't look at every question, so upvote the ones that you want to see and they'll get on the screen. All right, so today what we're going to do is we have a very exciting agenda ahead of us. We're going to start in the morning with talking about some of the opportunities ahead of us, look at some evidence. We have guest speakers from the OECD, from the Conference Board of Canada, from Diversity Institute. We're going to talk a lot about skills and demand, different groups of skills tied, to healthcare and to skilled trades, and knowing that these are really critical pieces of the skills that we need going forward. But in the afternoon, just as your energy's lagging, we're going to try to get you to think about some bold ideas. And we have a few people here to give us some provocative ideas and things that we can maybe energize us and to think about how we move into action. We'll also have 2 spotlights today, and gosh, I gotta tell you, it was hard to choose those. We've had so many amazing project partners over the years at Future Skills Center, but we're going to be joined by one partner from Ivado on artificial intelligence, and also Monumental working on housing and housing leadership, and we'll get a chance to see innovation in practice. And a little bit later, I'm going to tell you about the 2 booths we have back there, and I hope you'll visit both of them because we wanted to give a chance for you to see some of the innovation in action and different tools and things that people can engage with. But I want to remind you that it's not just about the part that you see. A lot of times behind the scenes, there's a lot of relationships, there's a lot of reimagining the networks of people that are working on different challenges. So we'll talk more about that later today as well. All right, somebody advanced the slide for me, so thank you. So I'm supposed to open up by giving you a little sense of some of the challenges ahead and why we're here today. And I think it'll be no surprise to anyone in this room that there's a lot of talk about trade and tariff disruptions anytime you open the Globe and Mail, our partner, you'll see that there's a lot of talk about the labor market and all of the changes that are ahead. Unemployment is at 7.1%, the highest in years. I think Pedro's going to tell us more about that this morning. But we also see a lot of job vacancies. We're in a bit of a paradox. What's going on here? We're trying to understand the labor market. We're also concerned about youth and the youth unemployment rate. Healthcare pressures. I was talking with some people last night about our experiences in the healthcare system and how we feel for the people on the front lines, the nurses, the healthcare workers, personal support workers. Skilled trades. We know that we need more people in the skilled trades, and our partner Skill Plan has been doing incredible work in not only trying to bring more people into the skilled trades, but how the skilled trades work together, aligning the different unions and trade groups. We also know that immigration is shifting, the big change to immigration and our policies around international students and temporary workers. And yet we also know that we haven't been doing that great a job in letting immigrants use the skills and talents that they have when they get here. And of course, underlying everything, I already heard somebody talking about it in the background this morning around AI. And how can we really leverage AI? And is it going to be the magic key that helps us solve this productivity challenge that Canada has? So yes, no shortage of challenges. But what we want to focus on today is the opportunities. So what is a future built on skills? That's what we called this event. So what is a future built on skills? It's the foundation for everything that Canada aspires to achieve, from building more homes and pioneering a greening economy to advancing productivity and shared prosperity. Our national ambitions depend, at least in part, on having the people with the right skills in the right place at the right time. But we're not starting at zero. That's the good news. There's good momentum across sectors and across regions. What we need now is to support people. It's that simple, especially young people and communities facing barriers to training, credential recognition. We're making good progress and learning what works, from wraparound supports to innovative learning pathways. In this moment of transformation, our prosperity depends, at least in part, on our ability to innovate, to adapt, and to work together. So across Canada, we're part of a skills ecosystem, and I'm so thrilled that so many of this skills ecosystem are joining us here today and online. And this is an ecosystem that connects ideas, evidence, and people, turning innovation into opportunity for every community. That's our vision. And that's how we build a workforce and a nation resilient by design and ready for what comes next. So I want to leave it there and invite Rob Fleming to come up and give a few words. And for those of you who don't know, Rob Fleming was formerly part of the government of British Columbia, was the Minister of Housing and Infrastructure, I believe. You got to come all the way over here, Rob. I know. But don't worry, it's friendly over here. So I'll give it to you to share some opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Trish, for getting us underway. Thank you very much for the invitation to be here with all of you. I'm really excited about the day ahead that we have, discussing a future built on skills, securing Canada's prosperity. As mentioned, yes, I was the Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure in British Columbia, back in a time when there were balanced budgets and surpluses and fantastic things going on in my province and elsewhere. I've left politics very recently, and life is pretty good on the outside, but still, these kinds of public policy challenges that we're going to look at today having a pulling effect on all of us, and I indeed want to thank each and every one of you for giving your valuable time to be here. We've got a great crowd in the room. As Trish outlined, we've got a very packed day with interactive sessions. We have esteemed speakers who will share insights on the skills needs of Canadian workers and businesses. We're going to dive into data just on how Canada stacks up internationally. We're going to exchange some ideas as well on how Canada can build its skills base and cultivate a more productive workforce, which is surely the cornerstone of a more prosperous country. In the room, as I mentioned, the experts and leaders that we have come from many backgrounds spanning industry, labor, all parts of the public service. and representing every region of Canada. I had a wonderful dinner last night with some Maritimers, some Albertans, an awful lot of Ontarians. I think if our objective is to be stated today, by the time we get to the end of our time together, it's a bit like the challenge facing the Toronto Blue Jays tonight. We need to find some wins. We're having the discussions today against the background of a fast-changing and unpredictable world. We're going to get into that, but massive technological transformations that affect our society and our workplace. Ongoing demographic shifts that we've talked about for a long time, but are really upon us with an aging population. Substantive pivots in immigration policies, for sure. And then, of course, uncertainty as well as disruption in our long-standing trade partnerships and market rules of access as we once knew them. Also, we're speaking today at a time when our traditional institutions in higher learning, skills and trades training are grappling with their own challenges. And as Canada's post-secondary sector rebuilds, and it is in a rebuilding phase, it's seeking a renewed purpose. It's looking for stronger student outcomes, better connections to employment, and a role in advancing a new and profound Canada-strong consensus and linking itself to that. This moment certainly calls for creative changes to some of the existing programs, some of the existing policy making, with the kind of speed and agility, I would say, that saw major shifts during the COVID-19 pandemic. This time our aim is to unlock our national potential, not lock ourselves in for preservation, but you get the idea that we can move quickly in this country when we need to. And as was mentioned, we're not starting from scratch. Canada has an excellent skills training ecosystem that is vast in scope from every region of the country. It's already producing positive stories, focusing in on the problems that are well known and beginning to address those. And today we're going to hear from some of those who are driving innovation and improvements. Yet we have to be sober about this. Despite our strengths, we all know that Canada continues to lag behind many high-income peer nations in matching skills training with the needs of today and tomorrow's labor markets, as far as we can know what the future looks like. We discussed yesterday at the FSC's Resilient Workforce Working Table our goal to ensure that no one gets left behind. This goes to the core of an inclusive resilience and is about workers who are either entering for the first time, re-entering, or staying in the workforce. And improving resilience requires us to address several issues. Many Canadians who are entering the job market and mid-career workers continue to report very weak career awareness. Information is just not getting to our future workforce in time to influence the decisions that they're making and the pathways that they're taking to get skills that are in demand. This must be fixed. Vocational and trades apprenticeship programs in Canada, while high in quality, continue to be insufficient in quantity and far less integrated with employers and industry than those in many of the competitor countries. We know this must change as well. But we've had versions of these conversations. I don't want to give a déjà vu sense to those who've been involved in them who are in this room. But this time we actually need a truly collaborative, different approach in Canada. We need industry, business, labor and government, and higher education all coming together to listen and constructively challenge one another, even calling each other out where necessary, where they're falling down. We have to dig deeper into Canada's labor productivity problem. It's not about simply setting big training targets. Past attempts to do that, including by those of my own government, have not succeeded because they have not been backed up, typically by the fundamental changes to our skills training systems that we need to have. And that's not why I left politics, by the way. I do, though, want to thank those that are in public service right now who hold elected office. These are not easy times. Public finances are hard to come by, yet the moment calls for Canada to do more. We can do more by working together to solve these challenges. We are seeing Canadian businesses and workers doing more in these strange, fast-changing circumstances we live in. It's worth noting that since a certain inauguration date 9 months ago, Canada's trade, for example, has begun to shift significantly. For example, exports from Canada to the UK are up 63%. The European Union up by 26%. We're seeing increases with our Asian trade partners and South America as well. Overall, writ large, exports from Canada are up and imports are down. Also importantly, foreign direct investment into Canada, surely a sign of economic health, into Canada has increased by 36% just in the year 2025, which signals that there is international confidence in things like our mining, energy, natural gas, and other sectors of the economy right across Canada. Also, Canadians are more than doing their part. They're spending more on Canadian products, and they're vacationing within their own country, as we saw over the summer. And I have to say that government has been swift as well. There is support, there is listing of what is called nation-building infrastructure. We're driving interprovincial trade and labor mobility in a way that we haven't talked about in well over a decade. And we are passing significant legislation in our provincial legislatures in the House of Commons to build more efficiently and more effective and more quickly in this country. So I look forward to getting into all of this with you today. Thank you again to everyone for your attendance, to the presenters, panels, and political leaders for your contributions. Let's get underway and make the most of today's opportunities. Thank you so much.